Consolidation within the crypto market continues and the stock market is still rising. So will crypto catch up to the stock market? Well, we're all awaiting the speech from the Fed today. Ultimately, that is going to be the deciding factor with regards to which way the market's going to go. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. A couple of things noteworthy to mention. And you have here from the 𝗕𝗍𝗃 letter, he says, this is incredible. 4 days ago, the entire crypto market collapsed in a matter of minutes. Remember, we had that massive sell-off, which you can see over here. Over $200 million was liquidated within an hour. Those were liquidated longs. And since then, Bitcoin has traded completely flat. I'm sure all of you out there can see, which is why the viewer numbers are low right now. So please help me out by smashing the like button over there to get the algorithm going. That will tell people that we are live and get them back onto the show. So you have here, it's just posted its lowest daily volume since 2015. Liquidity is drying up in real time and the volume is incredibly low. But with that being said, something important that I wanted to tell you, and I did mention this yesterday, but this is just in case you have forgotten, what you want to see when the market is entering into a transitionary phase is a tight consolidation with a drop-off in volume. If you see that, that is indicative that potentially the market could be entering into a new phase. I'm not calling up only or bull run. I'm simply just saying that's a transitionary phase whereby you consolidate and attempt to enter into a new range, and then potentially the market can reverse over the next couple of months into a new run, which would be an upward market, right? So let's have a look over here. There are a couple of things that have recently come out with Grayscale, and also I wanted to look at the open interest on CoinGlass over here. So let's see, Grayscale investment, BTC Holdings, obviously has dropped massively over there. And then looking at the premium hasn't reached its all-time lows again yet. So all-time lows were at negative 49.21% discount. Currently, we're sitting at a discount of 45.53%. So we would want to see this close in and start to approach the premium level. So close the discount out before you start to see a healthy run within the crypto markets. What else is there over here? Open interest and volume. Look at the volume on the bottom bands over there. So steadily being contracting over time, decreasing. And then you also have the open interest, which is also dropping off over there. Here you can see all the open interest across exchanges also been dropping off for the most part. And then the Bitcoin volatility, let's have a look at it on the 60-day period over here. Also still very low. So in line with what we're seeing on the stock markets as well. So this is something that's just come out over here. So Wendy says the SEC is literally trying to ban Bitcoin with prohibiting the sale of mining equipment. If you thought that they wouldn't come for your Bitcoin, then you are very wrong. It's not altcoins versus Bitcoin. It's us against them at this point. So I feel like we need a group hug when you read that last part. But this is the thread. If you do want to go and have a look at this, this is basically a new case that's just been filed by the SEC, basically alleging that if you're using crypto mining equipment, pretty much against that, and they want to ban crypto mining equipment, which is just insane. What that basically means is, of course, the miners are just going to move elsewhere, right? They're going to move to other areas where you get free energy or less expensive energy, and they're going to continue to mine crypto. And if any of you out there know 𝗕𝗚𝗧𝗏 was the founder of BitMEX, phenomenal trader, analyst, and just overall market guru, I would say. And he wrote an incredibly interesting piece on Medium. If you go into Medium and find his blog post over there, it was about essentially the wars that are currently, he basically said we are in World War III at the moment, but this World War III is not like World War I and World War II, where it's basically a war fought with guns and violence, but instead this is energy warfare. So if you go and have a look at that article, it's really worth the read. He basically outlined that things like this were going to happen, but ultimately Bitcoin would rise like a phoenix from the ashes at the end of the day, but it still could mean that you could have one more flash crash. So he explains how different superpower countries are basically fighting against one another to cut off the oil supplies. And he basically speculates that at the end of the day, although a lot of people are very bearish on the US would most likely be the ones that come out on top. And ultimately, this would result in them going back into quantitative easing because they would be forced to print money. Europe would also have their oil supplies completely cut off, and they would be forced to print and pay up in dollars to get their oil supplies. The audio is crackling. I think you'll have to call James for that. All right, guys, let me check the comments quick. How bad is the audio? Let's see. Yeah, just go ahead. Is it bad, Ray?
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay, let's just quickly get James, the sound guy, before he gets fired. He's not even in here. He should be fired already. Okay, let's see. Okay, I might go off quickly. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go off, and then I'll come back on. Yo. How's that? Still cracky.
Yeah. It goes through StreamYard. It sounds fine on our side.
All right, guys. I don't know. What do we do? James, you want to do the show?
Switch your mic to the squigglies.
Okay, I'm going to have to do that. Just give me a second.
Let's see if it works.
Okay, how's that, guys? Am I on the right mic now? Is that better?
Much better.
Cool. We'll just do it old school style. So let's get that out of the way. Thanks for your patience, everybody. All right, let's get going. I just need to share my screen again. Let's grab everything. Okay, go and read 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗕𝗔 Medium article. That's basically where we were at. We'll rely on the old faithful squiggly earphones over here, and we'll make sure that this is fixed for tomorrow. So back onto the SEC over here. They're increasing their staff now to investigate and prosecute crypto firms. So it really seems like we're in that phase of where they fight you, right? You know the saying, I think it was actually Gandhi that said this: first they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then they join you. So we're in the fighting phase for sure. And we knew this year is going to be a year of regulation, where regulators would come and try and figure out how they can maneuver around crypto. You see the rise of the CBC coins that are coming out all over the world as well, not just in the US, but all over, even here in Africa where I'm from. So if you have a look over here, you can ask yourself, what is Coinbase doing? And if you look at Coinbase's new layer 2 network, this is by Cointelegraph. They say it's called Base, right? You guys remember that came out. It was a big announcement. They could launch with anti-money laundering and KYC measures for users. Chief Executive Brian Armstrong hinted in a recent interview. So very, very interesting times that we find ourselves in. In other news, you have here FTX, so one of 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗡's affiliates, Alameda Research, filed a lawsuit against Grayscale Investments. So that's another thing that's just recently started to unfold. And what does that mean for Grayscale? Well, we'll have to wait to find out. Is it going to create problems within the premium and discount that they currently have on the GBTC? So FTX debtors are seeking injunctive relief to unlock $9 billion or more in value for shareholders of Grayscale, Bitcoin, and Ethereum Trust. So we're back into that FUD phase of, are they going to be selling that GBTC? You have Genevieve over here, which says FTX just updated its books. The company is missing $6.4 billion in cash and in stablecoins, $1.58 billion worth of Bitcoin, $870 million worth of ETH, $109 million worth of SOL, and $209 million of other miscellaneous crypto. So massive, massive holes within the books and balance sheets of all these respective companies. And basically it all points to one thing, and that is liquidity, right? The liquidity, you can see how precious liquidity is at the moment. You really need to protect your capital in these current times because there is a massive, massive demand for that liquidity. And when the liquidity dries up like this, the markets become very, very fragile. And that's both to the up and the downside, right? If you have a low liquid market, it means that you can take a small bid or ask, so a buy or sell order, and that can move the markets in massive, massive ways. Feel free to go and have a look at some illiquid altcoin, something on CoinGecko. You can arrange in order of lowest volume and go and take a $10 trade on there and see what happens. That's kind of what we're talking about over here. TED Talk says regarding the Mt. Gox fears, 2 of the largest creditors representing 20% of all claims have selected to be paid in Bitcoin. And he says this is suggesting that they will not sell. Those assuming that this will cause a market crash are assuming that all creditors will opt for early fiat payout. And it's in line with what I said yesterday, guys. When you look at all of these things that are going on right now, and this is a big if, right? Because this week is going to be absolutely enormous. There is 100% the risk that crypto could crash down to significant levels. But if it doesn't, if in light of all of this negative news and everything that's going on, the candles continue to, it's still going to sell off, right? But those sell-offs are smaller and smaller in relation to the previous sell-offs. Remember, that indicates to you that the market is transitioning into a new phase, and those news impacts are becoming less and less. So you can go to token unlocks as well if you want. Token unlocks, and then you put in /events /Mt. Gox. If you do want to track exactly what is going on with these particular coins and how they're moving, that's the best place to do it. You can see over here some BTC has been moving. These have no activity for prolonged periods of time, and then kind of track what's going to happen with those coins and where they're going if those guys are going to sell them. So the biggest thing that we're all looking at, of course, is the Fed Watch tool over here. Is it going to be 25 or 50 basis point rate hike? So currently the probability is high that it's going to be 25 with 72.3%. We'll wait to see guidance from the Fed. I'm sure that will start to change quite rapidly throughout the day and over the course of the next couple of weeks. Mark it off on your calendar. I have the Forex calendar over here. Mine is set to currently on my time. So later on today, it's coming. 𝗕𝗏𝗃 speaks at 5 p.m. I think in US time, that's probably going to be around 8 or 9 a.m. for most of the US. So mark that off on your calendar. Not much has changed over here with regards to the monthly chart over here, still at a critical level. Ultimately, you kind of want to mark off your ranges on that monthly level, and the way to do so, let's just quickly move that down. Probably not using my mouse. That's a problem over here. So what I would do is you can mark off the main ranges over here of the key monthly levels. You can see that we kind of confined within 25,270 towards the upside, and the low side is 21,376. Until we breach one of those sides, we don't really know which way this is going to go, and ultimately we continue to just be range bound with that environment in place. As long as the momentum oscillators continue, or price at least continues to track sideways, it will give those momentum oscillators a chance to start to move towards the upside. Let's quickly look at some of the other charts over here. So same chart over here with the stochastic RSI, the RSI on the bottom, and then we have the MACD, and let's see what it looks like on the 2-week chart. So currently tracking towards the upside. You can see stochastic RSI is starting to cross back down. Let's see what it looks like on the 1-week chart over there. All right, so it's been at the top for quite some time. Those things obviously can remain elevated for a while, but you can see with the MACD on the weekly, the histogram is starting to slow down. But the one good thing that you have over here is these moving averages. Once those start to cross above the 0 line, that is actually something positive. Let's have a look at the 3-day and then the daily, just to get some sort of an indication. These ones are starting to reset. Stochastic RSI on the 3-day is beginning to reset over there. If you look at the MACD has recently just started to cross back down. And then lastly, let's see what the daily looks like. Okay, histogram on the daily is starting to lighten, and all these stochastic RSIs and normal RSI has been completely reset. So something to keep an eye out on. Currently, you need to choose your edge, where's your edge on which time frame, and stick with that. I'm still watching this keenly. The stock market has continued to go up, and yet Bitcoin has caught a little bit of a bid, but not much. The question is, which one is going to close in first? Because we have a massive divergence over here. Expect that there is going to be a convergence. Is the convergence going to meet somewhere within the middle over here, where Bitcoin rallies halfway up, S&P 500 comes down? Or is Bitcoin going to catch up all the way to the top of the S&P 500 over here, meaning that we're probably going to rally back to the top of that range around that $25,000 level? Let me know in the comments below. I see Sunrise every day says, how can anyone be bullish? I must agree, things feel very, very bearish. It's when you look over there on Twitter, on crypto Twitter, it really looks like Armageddon, doomsday scenarios all over again. Everything seems absolutely terrible out there. But you need to mark off key levels, right? That's the important thing. Look at the key levels, mark off your support, mark off your resistance. You want to be buying support and selling resistance. The truth of the matter is we're obviously in a bit of no man's land at the moment, with price consolidating both between important levels of resistance as well as an important level of support. And I was saying this to Fred actually this morning. I was saying that, Fred, you know, like it is obviously quite a tough decision on whether to be long or short at the moment because the market's in no man's land. But ask yourself, where is there, which bears or bulls? Who has the edge, right? So we're in the middle of resistance and support. Support is probably not as strong as what the resistance is, right? So there's probably more power at the moment on the bear side. They currently definitely do have the edge, but if you are managing your risk and you're scaling in very, very slowly into long positions, you're probably better off doing that. To ape in now is absolutely insane. That's not something that you should be doing. So there you have it, as I just mentioned, right? All the resistance at the top. You have the 50 moving average on the weekly chart coming down. You have the 200 moving average, which is the purple one, which is currently tracking around where that all-important 25K resistance is. And then you have minor support over here. So which one is stronger? I mean, I would say definitely it's going to be the overhead resistance is going to be far stronger than what this minor support is over here. So just manage your risk with regards to your trades over there. The Gaussian channel, we're still watching this over here. Remember, usually it was on the 6th week, if we compare to 2015, that you have the breakdown. We're yet to see that. Once you start to come below these moving averages, it will probably rapidly start to accelerate towards that 19K region, which is around where it means that you break all the way back into the range and you start approaching those range lows. Let's have a look over here with the Gaussian channel, just for interest's sake, on the daily chart. What does that look like? With our different EMAs over here, the 9 and the 18. So currently it's coming back into the green Gaussian channel. These would be certain levels of support, right? Let's see how they line up with our range. So you got 21,600, and then the bottom over there, you have 20,590. So 20,590 should be lining up over there with where your mid-range is. Let me know in the comments. I see the comments are going crazy over here. Are you guys bullish or bearish? Because the market is very, very divided at the moment. I agree with Brandon. DCA is the best. It's the absolute best thing that you can do right now. That's if you want market exposure. That is the best thing that you can do. So we'll keep a close eye on that. This is one of the 𝗕𝗆𝗄𝗎 cases. They're going to be looking for a breakdown in the bonds over here. So the 2-year bonds. I've overlaid all of them. You got pretty much, I've gone from 1 month, continuing to rise to basically all-time highs. 3 month, continuing on up. Look at that, very, very strong. It looks bullish. 6 month, looks bullish. 1 year, super bullish. 2 year, coming into some resistance over here. This will confirm if you start to see a daily, so you have to wait for a daily close, right? If you see a daily close below this candle over here, this will confirm that it's probably going to have been a rejection from that zone. That might give crypto a bit of a rally. Let's see the 10-year. 10-year also, same thing. You're going to be looking for a close below yesterday's candle. If you do, you might have follow through towards the downside. Not much to say over here. These are still creating those W formations. This is the 30-year, right? W formation is usually very, very bullish. You're looking at a move all the way back to the top over there. So that's what I'm watching over there on the yields. What about the 𝗕𝗍𝗧? 𝗕𝗍𝗧 is continuing to come down, but it's soon going to come into a support zone, which is this area over here at 103. Let's go 103.7. So that's one key important zone that you're coming into. Bulls will also be hoping that you break this down and you don't get back above. But ultimate target would be up here. If you reclaim this box, which I showed you on yesterday's show, if you can get back above here and hold, then bears will be hoping that this pushes up to here. And then that would be a good place to potentially consider entering into long positions in crypto. At that point, many altcoins have hit their range low or even deviated below that range low again. And then you can set in a major lower high over there. So S&P 500, same thing. If you want confirmation that this is going to continue on to the upside, same thing. We have to wait for the daily close, right? If you see this daily close above the body of yesterday's daily, that would mean continuation to the upside. Otherwise, if you are looking to trade it on the short side, which is something that I did, you'd be looking for a deviation, right? So you got the 0.75 level, and then this is your mid-range, that area down there. You're looking for this to be a deviation to come back in and break down. I'm going to show you on a lower time frame in just a second, but that's just to give you perspective. That's what you're looking at, right? Close above yesterday, you invalidate, close the shorts out, and then you're targeting all the way back to the range high. Otherwise, you're going to be shorting all the way back down to the mid-range. So it looks like this. That's kind of the trade setup. Let's just move the little pink box. Can I even move that? Okay, it's overlaid, so I can't do it. But that's kind of what you're looking at. That is the short trade over there. You got the spike up, you came back below, and now you're expecting that this is going to move all the way back down to where the previous lows were at 39.24 for the stock market. This doesn't mean that I'm mega bearish or anything. This is simply just a game of probabilities. If you were down here and you're deviating back above into this zone over here, you had the long opportunity that you could play back to the top. I didn't draw the chart out like this, but I gave you guys the long opportunity. That was on Friday. You can go back to that chart if you don't believe me. I think I may have actually even put the risk to reward tool for you on that show. But I'm trying to make it more specific for you in this show. Okay, I clicked on it there. If you want the levels, they're marked off on the right-hand side in red. That's your stop loss. In gray, that's going to be your entry. And then if you look over here, the green one, 39.25 is your take profit. If you do wish to take that trade and you don't have anywhere to trade it, Prime XBT is where I trade these other commodities and stocks and things like that. There is a link in the description below with a sign-up bonus. Okay, VIX, very, very important as well. Its next move is going to depend on whatever the Fed says and does today. But obviously, it is coming into a scary place, right? Anytime that we've contracted into these levels, anywhere around these teens, right? 17 to 18, which is exactly where we're at right now. It usually is just before a massive spike to the upside. That massive spike to the upside creates that downside momentum, which means obviously looking for low prices. Same thing over here. Altcoins, we've mentioned this a million times. Total 3 continues to grind down. Slow bleed for altcoins for the most part. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Back into the range, targeting towards the mid-range. Your best case scenario, if you're bull, is you're hoping that how much will work out the percent now, but you're hoping that you get back into here and you kind of just grind and hold this level out. And then eventually maybe you can do that upside down Bart Simpson, right? Upside down Bart Simpson. Let's put his eyes there. Okay, that's which way would his smile be? Like that. There we go. That's your upside down Bart Simpson. So that's what we're watching over there for the total 3. That means potentially another 4% down for total 3. So go look at your altcoins and ask yourself, where will they be in that situation? Super Guppy has not turned gray. Technically speaking, and when I say technically, I literally mean work out all the historical data points that you get anytime that this has gone from full gray into green. So as soon as you lose all the gray bands over here on the EMA ribbon or the Super Guppy, it's basically a conglomerate of different exponential moving averages. As soon as the gray is gone, it's your signal to go long, right? We know historically that this works out pretty well. In your worst case scenario, you've had 4 false signals, which meant that you had an average loss of 5%. So your drawdown from entry to exit was minus 5%, which is not too bad, right? If you control your risk, it means that you can hardly lose anything. And your upside potential was 15 positive signals out of 19, giving you a 78.9% hit rate. That was 171% profit. So you would be looking and expecting, if you are trading this, for this area to hold. So you had that zone over there where it officially flipped green. Then you had the high low. You're looking for this zone to be your next high low and for a massive rally. I don't have the fractal here, but there's a fractal going around from 2019 showing where Bitcoin's basically bouncing off of this key level and it just rips up from here. So that's what you'll be hoping for. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not really the biggest fan of fractals. Fractals rarely work out. And I mean, you can change the scale of the chart to make anything really work. But ultimately, until this flips gray again like that, then it's still a positive signal. So it would look like this, right? Let's just quickly show you in case you're trading this. We want to go from where it flipped from green to gray. There we go, like that. So the last time on a daily chart that you had from full green into gray was all the way back at 58K. So you can see how this is a pretty positive signal, right? And since then, we haven't had any full green prints again until right now. So that's what we're watching on the Super Guppy. Let me know in the comments, are you trading the Super Guppy? Is that something that you use for one of your strategies? All right, I wanted to look over here at the ADX and DI. So ADX is continuing to track towards the downside. This simply just suggests that volatility is disappearing for the time being. It's contracting, and later on, we're going to get an expansion of that volatility. The green essentially represents the bulls. The red essentially represents the bears. Currently, the green is still above the red, meaning that the bulls have a slight edge. This is on the 2-day. If you change it onto a daily, it might look different. See, if you change it onto a daily, then it suggests that volatility is coming down. The strength of the bulls has disappeared, and the bears are recently just starting to track on up. They had one tick above the green and then very recently lost it. Let's see if they can get back above there. That's what we're watching over there. Other thing I wanted to look at is the 𝗕𝗏𝗧 moving average. It has come into the zone of interest. The zone of interest is anywhere between -2.4 and -3.4. Anytime that it reaches those levels, there's usually a reaction to the upside whereby that spikes and price follows, right? So have a look over there. You had to come into that zone. Once it starts to cross back up, then big bounce. And this simply tracks the it tracks how far price has deviated away from important exponential moving averages. That's the purpose of this tool. So if you look at current price action, and this can change quite quickly throughout the day, so you have to wait for closes in order to get confirmation. But this would be a good sign. If price can hold over here, then ultimately this will start to cross back up. The blue line will start to curl back around, and you'll have the over here, the Fisher distance from the EMA should also cross back up, and then hopefully bulls gain a little bit of a bid over there and get some momentum in. Same thing over here, range. Nothing's changed based off of yesterday. I know 1 million people are looking at this. Let's quickly put that in. 1 million people are looking at this trend line over here. Don't be surprised if you see spikes down below that. The point is you don't really want to see any closes underneath that mid-range at 21.5. That is a key level. It's of paramount importance that the bulls defend this 21,500 level and spike price up off of that back towards the range high, possibly getting one more leg up. So this is the fractal that I'm talking about that a lot of people are looking at is this. Quickly draw it out for you. So they're looking at this broadening wedge pattern. Let's just grab our tool over here. So it looks something like this. And then you're looking for another spike up to the upside like that. And then it's a question, what do you break out from that level to much higher levels? Or do you have a massive breakdown? Because sometimes these wedges, these broadening wedges will break back down like that. So either way, if you are looking at this pattern, then you're expecting that there should be one more spike back above. I would love to see that. That would be a proper deviation above the range high over here, break those key levels, grab a lot of liquidity over here, and then I can reevaluate from that point. So that's what we're looking at over there. Not much to say on this one. Important levels is going to be the light blue over here, 200 exponential moving average, which is this one. And then you're also looking at your final line in the sand as a bull, is the 200 MA. If you go back below that, it's going to be incredibly bearish. Then all those much lower targets come back into play. Okay, here's your clean range, if you want to see it on a clean range. So until you start to see candles closing under the mid-range, I probably wouldn't bail out of my positions. I'd rather hold short-term longs, expecting that this is a key level that is going to hold. Remember, you want to buy support and sell resistance. And this is ultimately a support zone. It's not as strong as the range low support, but mid-range is nevertheless still a support zone. Okay, the only thing on the short term that is of concern to me is you have a bear flag. I mean, this is everything that you're looking for in terms of the anatomy of a bear flag. You have your pole come straight down. You have, look at this tight consolidation coming up. The angle is absolutely perfect for a bear flag, and these have a high probability of breaking to the downside. And now you have the 50 EMA, which is the red one, crossing below that 200 EMA, creating another death cross over there. Death cross on a low time frame though, so don't get too freaked out. But nevertheless, you're expecting that this should be a lot of resistance over here, and the higher up it grinds, the better your risk to reward is on a short trade. So where would the target be? The target would be 21,406. Again, let's try that in English. 21,247. So that would be the target. You're looking at this zone over here. 21,247. Okay, let's look over here at the different CVD levels. So for both spot and futures, that's a cumulative volume delta. Falling off of a cliff, spot is coming down. You have leverage traders, which are de-risking. Leverage is coming down. And then you even have the open interest, which has also come to quite low levels, not seen in quite a while. So massive, massive drawdown over there, meaning that a lot of market participants are out of the market, right? So you have, that's why you have such low volatility, a contraction in volatility. And the big question is, which way are we going? Are we going up or down? Look, it's anyone's guess today. All you can do is look at probabilities, low time frame. It definitely doesn't look good with the bear flag. So low time frame indicates what could potentially happen today. Your best hope as a bull is that this is going to turn into some sort of a 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗕𝗏𝗧 pattern, which I just drew a nice picture for you on the other one. So it's the same thing. You're looking for a consolidation sideways, and then you're going to be hoping that that breaks back. But the higher probability play currently looks like it's definitely towards the downside, at least for a quick spike. Higher time frame, things still look like they've changed. On-chain indicates that. So all the different coin metrics, so the on-chain metrics indicate that it's more likely that we're setting in a major bottom, and potentially even the bottom could be in for the markets. So guys, that brings us to the end. Please make sure you give the video a like, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. And then also check out the affiliate links below. If you don't have an exchange and you're looking to get one, consider using one of mine below. You lose nothing. You actually gain sign-up bonuses, and it helps me tremendously. And then also check out NordVPN. It's only $4 a day. If you don't have a VPN and you trade without that, then, I mean, that's pretty risky. All right, I will see you all on tomorrow's video. I really apologize for the sound. I hope that we get it sorted, and I hope that it wasn't too painful to listen through the all faithful squigglies. See you all tomorrow. Cheers for now.